Good day everyone, I am Rochelle Apilar together with my groupmates Jocelyn Archaga, Charlene Nguho, and Herwin Putot. We will be presenting two important topics, the Pearson correlation coefficient and Spearman's law, and explain how they help measure the relationship between variables in research. So the Pearson correlation coefficient is also an inferential statistic, which means that it can be used to test statistical hypotheses, while the Spearman rank order correlation is a non-parametric version of the Pearson product moment correlation.
Hello everyone, my name is Cherilyn M. Ngo from BASE HM2B. So this report represents the height and weight data of students from Bachelor of Science in Hospitality Management. The data set consists of 12 students where weight or X is measured in kilograms and height or Y is measured in centimeters. The data will be organized to compute values such as x squared, y squared, and the product of x and y for each student. After this computation, the sum of x, y, x squared, y squared, and xy will be calculated to analyze patterns and relationship within the data set. X squared represents the square of weight, y squared represents the square of height, and xy represent the product of height and weight. And to get the x squared, we multiply the value of x by itself. For example, 32 times 32 is equal to 1156. Then to get y squared, we value the and to get y squared, we multiply the value of y by itself. For example, 152 times 152 is equal to 12. To get y squared, we multiply the value of y by itself. For example, 152 times 152 is equal to 23,104. And to get the xy, we multiply x and y. For example, 34 times 152 is equal to 5,168. And some process is followed for the remaining values in the table. After computing all the values, we add them up. So the sum of n is 12, the sum of x is 604, the sum of y is 1,880, the sum of x squared is 31,074, the sum of y squared is 295,002, and the sum of xy is 94,909.
Good day again everyone, my name is Rochelle Apilar from PSHM2B. So now let me explain how we solve for the Pearson correlation coefficients or R shown in this calculation. First, we use the Pearson correlation formula, which means the strength and direction of the linear relationship between two variables, the weight and height of the students in the BSHM2B. In the formula, we substitute the given values such as the sum of x, sum of y, sum of xy, sum of x squared, and sum of y squared. Next, we calculated the numerator of the formula. This involves multiplying the number of data pairs by the sum of xy and then subtracting the product of the sum of x and sum of x of y. After solving this part, we obtain the value shown at the top of the fraction. Then we solve the denominator by subtracting the square of the sum of x from the sum of x squared and doing the same process for y. After that, we multiply the two results and found the square root of their product. Finally, we divided the numerator by the denominator, which give us the final person correlation coefficients value of R of 0.50. This results means that there is a moderate positive relationship between the two variables of height and weight of the students. In other words, as one variable increases, the other variable also tends to increase, but the relationship is not very strong.
Hi, I am Jocelyn Arteaga. So the next slide is based on the interpretation of the computed value. The correlation coefficient of 0.50 indicates a strong positive relationship. This means that there is a strong connection between the height and weight of the HM2B students. In simple terms, as a student's height increases and their weight also tends to increase. To determine if this relationship is statistically significant, we use the t-test. Before proceeding with the computation, we first state our hypothesis. The null hypothesis states that there is no significant relationship between the student's height and weight. On the other hand, the alternative hypothesis states that there is a significant relationship between the students' heights and weight. And now let's proceed to the next slide. To decide whether to accept or to reject the null hypothesis, we consider the following. First is the critical value from the t-table. Second is the degree of freedom, which is equal to the number of sample minus 2. And third is the level of significance, which is commonly set as a 1%, 5%, or 10%. After performing the computation, the computed t-value is 1.852. And this value will be compared to the critical value from the table. If the computed value is greater than the critical value, we reject the null hypothesis. Otherwise, we fail to reject it. This comparison will help us conclude whether the relationship between height and weight is statistically significant.
So, good evening everyone. I am Heroen S. Putut from BSHM2B, and I will discuss how to compare the t-test and critical value. So, we'll already have the t-test 1.852. So, furthermore, in order to make the decision whether to accept or reject the null hypothesis, we need to compare the computed t-test, which is 1.852, against a critical value that is found in the t-test table. So, before we compare the computed t-test, we need also need to get the critical value that is found in the t-test table. So, to locate the critical value, we will use the significance levels of the very common significance level is 5% or 0.05, and the degree of freedom is n-2 or 12 minus 2, which is equal 10. So our degree of freedom is 10, and why? Because it is being minus 2 to the t-test. Before that, we also need to determine whether the test is one-tailed or two-tailed. So let's go! Test is two-tailed. And why? Because a two-tailed test does not specify which direction is tested, while a one-tailed test is checking for significance difference in a specific direction. So, we are discussing the height and weight, and it is the direction tested. We are not using increase or decrease, so we choose two-tailed. Example, one-tailed test attending public classes before important exams has no negative effect on the performance of the examines. Two-tailed tests attend public classes before important exam has no effect on the performance of the exam. So as you can see, we can see in the t-test table is one-tail, two-tail, and DF known as degree of freedom. So with the two-tailed, using 10 as degree of freedom, significance level of 5% or 0.05. So let's now to identify. Look out to the two-tailed test and find the 0.05. Oh, did you already find the 0.05? Okay, and look down to the degree of freedom and find the number 10. and connected to 0.05. Did you see the 2.228? Yes, that's correct. So the critical value is 2.228. Pair. In deciding whether to accept or reject the null hypothesis, the rules state that if the computed t-value is greater than critical value, we have to reject the null hypothesis. If the computed t-value is less than critical value, we have to accept the null hypothesis. In the example that we made, the computed t-value is 1.852. So, gamay siya. It's so very small. It's less than the critical value 2.228. So the critical value we have is 2.228. So according to the rule state, if less than, we have to accept the null hypothesis. So the decision is to accept the null hypothesis. So we're there now to compare, and we have now to decision. This means we are accepting that the null hypothesis is less than. Therefore, there is no significant relationship between height and weight of BSHM 2B students. Thank you. So good morning everyone. I am Herwin Isputut and I will discuss the Spearman's rank order correlation. Let's go! So, there is the weight and height. We have a 12 sample each. For the weight, we have 12, and the height also have the 12. So, how will we get the rank weight and rank height? So, we need to find the highest number in the weight. So, as you can see, the highest number of the weight is 62. And you can see the rank weight is 1. So, it means we will get the highest number to the lowest number. So it's like we rank the highest number to the lowest number. So like, but we have also the 12 sample, so we rank it also by 12. So as you can see in this table, that our rank weight is number 1 is 62. And last number is 12, which is the lowest number is 34. Also same for the rank height. So let's proceed to the D. How we'll get D number 3? So let's say 12 minus 9 equals 3. Just minus the rank weight and rank height. 12 minus 9 equals 3. Is that correct? 8.5 minus 2 is 6.5. 5.5 minus 7 is negative 1.5. So why it is negative 1.5? As you can see, it's very common because 5 is the lowest number than 7. So it's negative 1.5, as so on. So how we'll get the D squared? So we will get the D squared by multiple by self by the D. As you can see, D is 3. So example this, 3. 3 times 3 equals 9. 6.5 times 6.5 equals 42.25, as so on. So that's how we get the D squared. So, how we'll get the sum of D squared? So, we get the sum of D squared by computed all by plus. So, it's like 9 plus 42.25, 2.25, 36, 16, 9, 9, 0, 1, 1, 20.25, and 0.25. Just plus this all, and you get the sum of 146. Did you get it, guys? So, let's proceed to the formula. So, this is the formula. P equals 1 minus 6 sum of D squared divide N, open parenthesis, N squared minus 1, close parenthesis. So, this is the formula. So, the D squared we already have is 146. For the second formula is P squared minus 1. Just copy the 6 since this is the given formula and put the sum of the answer, which is the 146. Divide the N, which is the 12 sample, and 12 squared minus 1 and a close parenthesis. So that we have already the P P for the second formula. So let's solve. So how we will going to solve it? So just multiply the 6 times 146. So we get it 876 for the third formula. Divided by 12 times 12 equals 144 minus 1 equals 143. So we already have the 143. So after that, just multiply the 12 times 143 equals 1,716. So the formula of 3 is 1 minus 876 divide 12 times 143. So for the formula of 4, we have P, 1 minus of 876 divide 1,716. So this is the last step. This is the second to the last step. So just divide it, the 876 divide 1,716. So we get it 0.51. But there is a 1 minus for 0.51. So we get it 0.49. So this is indicate a moderate positive relationship between the rank individual obtained in the height and weight. So why it is moderate positive? Because the upper 5 is strongly positive. So 2 to 4 or 2 to 5 is 1 to 5 is 2 to 5 is moderate, and weak is 3 to 5 is moderate positive, and 1 to 3 is a weakly positive because it is a positive. That's why we put it moderate positive relationship between the rank individual obtained in the height and weight. And thank you.
So, my name is Rochella Pilar. Now, let me explain how we interpreted the computation value of P0.49 and tested its significance. Based on the table and the interpreted given, the value of P0.49 falls under the strong positive correlation or relationship. This implies that there is a strong positive relationship between students of HM2B students' height and weight. In order to test whether or not strongly positive relationship significance, we subjected the R to the t-test. This means that there is a positive relationship between two variables. In other words, as one variable increases, the other variable also tends to increase. The null hypothesis: there is no significant relationship between the student's height and weight. While the alternative hypothesis, there is a significant relationship between students' height and weight. So in order to make a decision whether to accept or reject the null hypothesis, we need to solve the following. Table for critical value of 40. Degree of freedom, or DF. The degree of freedom is n minus 2, where n is the number of sample, which is 12. The significant level, or of alpha level. So as you can see here, the formula of t-test is r over square root of 1 minus r squared over n minus 2. Remember, the n is 12. So in this formula, r represents the computed value correlation value, and the n represents the value of samples, which is the 12 minus 2, it will become 10. After substituting the values into the formula, we solve for the computed t-value. Then we compared this computed t-value with the critical value of t from the t-table using the degree of freedom of 10. If the computed t-value, after computed this t-value, we get the 1.75. So if the t-value, the computed t-value is greater than the critical value, it means the correlation is significant and the relationship between the variables is meaningful. However, if the computed t-value is less than the critical value, it means the correlation is not significant. Therefore, this step helps us confirm whether the correlation value of P of 0.429 truly represents a significant relationship between the variables.
Hello, this is Sherilyn Goho. So next we need to decide whether to accept or to reject the null hypothesis. To do this, we will compare the computed t-test value, which is 1.781, to the critical value from the t-table. To find the critical value, we use a significance level of 5% or 0.5 and the degrees of freedom, which is calculated as n minus 2. Since our sample is in size 12, the degree of freedom will be 12 minus 2, which equals to 10. We also need to determine whether the test is one-tailed or two-tailed, because this affects the critical value we will use for the comparison. The null hypothesis stated earlier is a two-tailed test. A two-tailed test does not specify the direction of the effect, meaning it checks for any significant difference, whether an increase or a decrease. On the other hand, a one-tailed test looks for a significant difference in a specific direction. For example, a one-tailed test would be attending public classes before important exam has no negative effect on the performance of the examinees. Meanwhile, a two-tailed test would be attending public classes before important exam has no effect on the performance of the examinees. Since our null hypothesis does not predict a specific direction, we use a two-tailed test for this analysis.
The next slide, so with a two-tailed test, using 10 as the degree of freedom is a significance level of 5% or 0.05. We prefer to the t-table. From the table, the critical value is 2.228. And lastly, in deciding whether to accept or reject the null hypothesis, the rule states that if the computed t-value is greater than the critical value, we reject the null hypothesis. However, if the computed t-value is less than the critical value, we accept the null hypothesis. In our example, the computed t-value is a 1.781, which is less than the critical value of 2.228. Therefore, the decision is to accept the null hypothesis. This means that there is no significant relationship between the height and weight of the BSHM 2B students.